Hello, cinema peeps.
Hello, hello, hello.
We're going to do this extra speedy fast today because Kaylee's got a dentist appointment to get to, and we are, holding it down to the wire.
Honestly, why would we do things on time? That makes no sense. Always has to be down to last minute.
That tends to be our reputation sometimes. We're going to be like the Flash today, though. We're going to do this real fast.
Speaking of Flash, although I know this will probably be a week after the fact, but there was DC Fandome this past weekend.
It was this weekend, yes.
By the time this gets out, it will be a week.
Because that's how we roll here on the Cinema Gals.
How we roll. So I feel like we'll probably just talk about that all today, because there was quite a few cool, fun little nuggets.
Yes, there was.
That we can discuss.
I thought it was pretty cool that they decided to do that, considering all of the conventions this year were obviously canceled due to the pandemic and stuff like that. So it was kind of cool that DC stepped up and did their own little online convention. I know there's a few different ones, like a few different conventions that have been holding like an online thing. Like there was that Wizarding World one, and there was like a couple other ones, but yeah, this one was pretty cool just because there was a lot of exciting DC announcements.
I don't remember the exact schedule, but I think they kicked off with a Wonder Woman panel, which I missed, but I also was trying to avoid that for the most part, mostly because they had a new trailer for the movie, but I was like, you know what, I'm good. Movies in theory should be out in a month and a bit, maybe a month and a weekish, so I was kind of like, you know what, I'm gonna save some surprises for myself. And I mean, I don't know what your impressions are, but I remember when when Wonder Woman was building up for its release this summer, like I kind of had the feeling that Kristen Wiig was going to be a villain. I just didn't know what villain. But then I think at least I found when coronavirus was getting worse and they had to for sure push back the movie date, they were more lenient in being like, oh yeah, Kristen Wiig plays the cheetah, And I was like, oh, I want to be surprised. But I guess on one end, obviously, if you want to watch the trailer, obviously go do it. But I think at this point, they're still trying to keep people engaged with the film.
Yeah. Which, I mean, this is a whole other rant on its own. But, like, I just don't like that movies have to... Well, anything nowadays has to resort to that. And I get that, it's obviously, it's the best way to bring in the fans, bring in the people. But it's just... I kind of miss the days when you just, went and picked a movie that we were like, oh, this looks good. You didn't really know too much about it. You didn't have 6 million trailers playing like every different version so that you pretty much saw everything you needed to know about the movie in the trailer. And then you weren't, surprised when you got to the theater to watch the actual movie.
I'm good with 2. You have your little teaser for only a couple minutes.
Sneak peek.
And then you have like a theatrical one. So you can kind of get the gist, but still have a little air of mystery to it.
Exactly. My favorite trailer still is the first one that they did for Guardians of the Galaxy.
I don't even remember that one.
It was cut to the Hooked on a Feeling song.
Oh.
It was cool.
Good one.
Classic.
Although... Guardians, Suicide Squad.
Yeah, James Gunn's directing the Suicide Squad.
Which I fear, like, it's just gonna be a Guardians of the Galaxy, but, like, more R-rated.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I have nothing wrong against that. I loved Guardians, but... Because I watched a little bit of that panel when they were announcing everybody, and I was just like... I was a little overwhelmed. I was like, holy shit, there's a lot of people in this movie. Which then made me wonder how many of them are going to stick around for so long.
Yeah.
Because it just reminds me a lot of the first one where they were announcing all these people, but then they killed off a couple, like, right off at the beginning. Sorry for spoilers. So I am going to be interesting, like, how much they're going to impact the story.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of people. There's too many people.
Very true. But I feel like James Gunn's going to do a good job at, like, keeping the camaraderie of the group.
Yeah.
And just, like, the humor and stuff like that, which is what I think they were trying to attempt in the first one, but it just kind of came off as a little all over the place.
But they did show, like, they had their own kind of teaser trailer, I guess, but mostly it was just them filming behind the scenes. But, I mean, it still looked dope, although when they were like, it's like a war film and something else, and I was like, I don't care for war films. But I think it definitely... I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm picking up the wrong vibes, but it looks like they're going international.
Yeah, it looks very
It's not going to be
jungly.
in the US of A, so I think that could be very cool. I am going to be curious how they... I mean, I hope, because like you said, like, James Gunn had really good camaraderie. So I hope, like, they poke fun at the first one, because I was actually surprised how many people from the first one they were bringing back.
Yeah, no kidding.
Like, they had... although I do remember them saying that Margot Robbie was going to be in that one, so she wasn't a surprise, but they're bringing back Captain Boomerang, they're bringing back Viola Davis, and they're bringing back that generic white guy from the first one.
Rick Flag?
Yeah, sure, him.
Which, honestly, other than him, because the rest of them, I'm okay with that, because those three were actually probably the most interesting and engaging characters out of, you know, the whole group there from the last half, because Captain Boomerang was actually pretty funny. I wish he would have gotten more screen time in the first one, so hopefully he gets some more here, because I thought he was quite funny. He was just, like, really ridiculous. Harley Quinn's obvious. And then I really liked Viola Davis. I liked the intensity that she played as Amanda Waller.
100%. And that's why I'm slightly confused but intrigued.
Yeah.
Just because they've run so many people back, and yet it's still just called the Suicide Squad. You know? Like, maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like you'd want maybe a slightly different name so it's not so similar to the other one.
Well, it sounds like... I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they're just trying to say to people, hey, everybody, forget about that one. This is the one we're going for. But I do know that, like, I think it was either just in the panel itself they were talking about, or it was in the teaser that they showed, where James Gunn or somebody was explaining the fact that they wanted to stay true to the original Suicide comics, like Suicide Squad comics, like the really old ones. So that's why they've got, like, Polka Dot Man and, like, all these other kind of, like, ones that I've never heard of personally, but, you know, like, they're in there.
Right.
So, but they also wanted to keep, obviously, like, the iconic ones, like Harley Quinn, and... I'm just glad that the Joker hopefully will not have as big of a role to play in this one as that one, because, yeah, I feel like he's just... Yeah. I don't want to get into it. That's a whole other rant.
But speaking of Joker, I don't know if you saw this. There was like it wasn't quite a panel, but it was like a kind of a mini promotion for a little mini Joker documentary.
Oh, okay.
It was what's it called? The Joker Behind the Smile? Or no, it's called Joker Put on a Happy Face. It's a really short 35-minute documentary. As far as I know, I don't know at the time this podcast finally goes up, but it is free. It's a little confusing. You have to go through iTunes to get it, to go to the Apple TV, whatever. I have it. It was just a strange process.
Cool.
Yeah. It's just like a little 30-minute, like I said, like 35 minutes, just doing like a little brief history on like the history of the Joker and like its evolution throughout his character, which is really cool. And just thinking when you were just like Jared Leto as the Joker, they actually talked about that one, and they're like, yeah, he brought his own gangster twist to it. And I was like, oh, how much, like, I wonder how many people are just like, we don't really want to include this, but he did play the Joker, so I guess we have to.
Well, it's like an article I was reading where there was like ranking the best Jokers from best to worst or whatever, and they were saying how, like, as much as, you know, his Joker in itself was pretty cool, I feel like everybody for that movie in specific, or the guy at least who was writing the article, he says, I feel like everybody for that movie in specific was so excited and focused on the actual look of him that they kind of lacked in the actual, like, girth of his, you know, his point of being in the story there, so...
I also I didn't like hearing the stories after the fact where Jared Leto was sending, like, dead animals and, like, threatening notes to cast members.
Yeah.
Because he was like, I'm in character. And I'm kind of a different thing, but it's like, I get if you want to be a method actor, but, like, keep that shit to yourself.
Right.
You know? Like, don't involve other people if that's not what they want. Because I remember just seeing promo stuff. I think they were actually talking about Jared Leto at the Suicide Squad premiere or something, and all of them are like, yeah, we don't actually really know Jared Leto because he was like, he kept like in Joker the entire time as the character, and they're like, yeah, it was kind of weird, and I was like, damn. But I think I also heard that about Dallas Buyers Club too, where they're just like, no, he wasn't Jared Leto, he was that character and nobody else. And again, if that's how you want to be as an actor, whatever, but again, I just don't inflict pain on other cast members.
Yeah. You know?
I get you're trying to be, I'm gonna be the best Joker, but it's like, no one wants fucking dead animals sent to them.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think there's a time and a place to do things, and that's definitely not one of the things to do.
Correcto.
Because, like, even like, for example, for It, when the new It movies came out, they wanted to keep Bill Skarsgård away from the kids as long as possible so that their reaction on screen was a genuine, like, reaction to how he actually looks, right?
Yeah.
Said a lot of actuallys there. But, yeah, so the fact that, you know, in the behind the scenes you can hear the kids talking. They're like, oh yeah, we got like a little glimpse of him like far off in the distance in a tent somewhere before the scene happened, but none of us were allowed to see him, and we wanted to all be genuinely scared, so we never got the chance to actually see him until that moment where they're all in the spooky house and he comes at them. And you can just tell, like, on their faces they're just completely like horrified, and then after that, I guess after they did the scene, the director yelled cut, and Bill Skarsgård is just dressed in the Pennywise costume, and he's like, hey guys, everybody okay? That was great, you guys did awesome. Like, he's just like the nicest guy.
Aw. Oh, speaking of panels, they did one on the Flash movie, which I'm still convinced is never going to come out.
Yeah. Is that the one where Ezra Miller's like, flash fact every 5 seconds?
Yeah. But they also had a lot of footage from It, and I was just like, okay. And I get, because it was the same director and stuff, and I was just like, okay, this is kind of weird. It just kind of felt weird, because they, like, you could tell that they were very passionate about the project, but I'm also just like, how far along is this? Because you guys have been talking about this for years. So, like, where are we at exactly? And I get, you know, minus Corona times right now, but, like, I know we've been sending articles back and forth when they're like, oh, there's more problems on set. They had to refire. They had to redo this. And you're just like...
Which is like, why? Why are there so many issues?
Right? It's a little cray-cray. Although, speaking on a different panel, they had one separately for the Snyder cut of Justice League. And it looks like they showed like a smidgen of maybe Iris West for the first time, maybe. And I think she might be the same actress in the Flash movie, but I don't fucking know.
Interesting.
He's just saving some girl from a car, and then they have longingly stares at each other, so that is my guess.
I know what you're talking about now, yes.
But,
yes,
like, that one, unfortunately, sorry, going back to the Flash panel movie, they only showed concept art, which, again, is, I don't think there's anything against that, but I also just think because this has been going on for so fucking long, like, I don't know, I need something a little more than just...
Right? And for now, I'm okay with that because I love the CW Flash. I think they're really nailing it with that one. And I know some people will disagree. Obviously, everybody has their favorites. But for now, I think they're really doing a good job with the Arrowverse group, and I hope they continue to do that. And it would be nice if, you know, they'd take maybe a page from them. And I know that, like, the panel previous to the Flash one, they had like a multiverse 101 thing, and it was like Greg Berlanti, who's like the, you know, kind of overseer, executive producer of all the Arrowverse shows.
Yeah.
They had oh god, I should remember his name, but I don't remember his name. Wow, one of the guys, he's like the executive producer of the DC films, and then the other guy is like the executive overseer of like the comic books and stuff like that.
Jim Lee.
Yes, Jim Lee. And so they had all three of them kind of talking about the different, you know, forms of media and how they all kind of combined, and then they made a comment on how they were able to take Ezra Miller's Flash and have him meet Grant Gustin's Flash in the show, which was amazing. And yeah, they all were made a, or who was it? I think it was Greg Berlanti was like, he said something to the effect of like, yeah, anytime, it'd be great to have, like, you know, the movies and the TV shows cross over, just to be able to like let, you know, the fans know that this multiverse does exist outside of the planes of the comic book, you know? The way they kind of explained it was like the TV shows are its own multiverse, or part of the multiverse. The movies are its own part of the multiverse, because the multiverse itself is different Earths or different universes with different alternate realities, right? So, but yeah, so it's kind of cool that they can still, or that they're willing to kind of cross those two paths over just to like keep that connection. So hopefully they continue to do that.
Right. Yeah, and the DC Fandom, they also talked about 2 new video games coming out next year and then 2 years from now.
Yep.
One being Gotham Knights, which looks dope as fuck.
Oh yeah, that looks awesome.
And yeah, I watched because you were telling me how it seemed like there might be like multiplayer aspect to it. in the extended footage. So
That's what it looked like.
that's what I watched. And yeah, I don't know how that would work though if like someone has to have their own game and play online, because it doesn't look like it went split screen at all. So that's my guess. But I know the other game they announced that's coming out in 2022, the Suicide Squad kills the Justice League, which looks really fun. And it looks like it has a really cool concept. But I noticed at the bottom that, yeah, it was only coming out for PS5 and I think Steam, I'm assuming, or something else.
Oh.
But did you watch that one or no?
No, I didn't. I missed that one.
Well, I think you could really Google anything right now. But basically, it was more of a cinematic trailer. But basically, it's the Suicide Squad. So there's Harley Quinn, Captain Boomerang, Deadshot, and King Shark. Mm-hmm. And Gotham, or wherever they are, is just in complete rubbles. But it's really poppy and colorful. So I hope it has a really good humor to it. But the last end shot is really good.
Yeah.
Because they're like, who is Amanda Waller? She wants us to kill some target. Who is it? And then this plane almost crashes. Do you want me to spoil it for you? Do
Sure,
you care?
go for it.
Okay, so then this plane explodes and the pilot is saved by Superman. And they're like, get lost, goody two-shoes. And then there's like this weird moment where there's this pause and the pilot kind of looks up and he goes, no, wait, no. And then Superman's eyes glow red and he just laser kills this guy, the pilot. So the Suicide Squad's like, oh my god, what the fuck? We have to kill Superman?
Ooh.
So I don't know. Maybe he is a different Superman.
Evil Superman.
Maybe evil, whatever. But I was like, that's pretty dope.
Interesting.
But yeah, it's only for PS5, unfortunately. So
Gosh darn it.
I know, but I'm gonna try to be as patient as I can and not invest in PS5 as long as I live.
Yeah. Side note, just going back to the Flash panel that you were talking about and how you said that they were showing concept art.
Yeah.
The concept art of the new updated suit looks way better than the suit that they had for him before. It's less metal, clunky looking. It looks more like the one that Grant Gustin wears in the show.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for that, if and when it comes out.
Right. If and when it comes out. I think, I don't know about for you, but personally the most upsetting thing for me was the new Batman teaser.
Oh yeah, I remember you saying
Robert
that.
Pattinson.
Yeah.
Holy hell. I was so upset of how good that fucking looked. I was like, no.
You might need to explain, give some context to why.
Okay, so when they were announcing, I feel like maybe we've talked about this before on the podcast. I don't remember, so I'll try to keep it very brief. But yeah, for a while we've known that there's going to be a new Batman movie with Robert Pattinson as Bruce Wayne / Batman. But there's also like Colin Firth in there who's supposed to play the Penguin, so that could be really cool. And then Lenny Kravitz's daughter, Zoe Kravitz,
yep,
as Catwoman. So I was like, okay, like the casting seems okay. I'm not a huge fan of Robert Pattinson, but I was like, eh. But I remember what they did a first teaser with like the bat suit kind of, and it showed the bat symbol in the suit, and they're like, yeah, it's made out of the gun that killed his parents. And I was like, what kind of emo fucking shit is this? And I was like, all right, I don't care for this, you know? Like, I knew I was most likely gonna watch it, but I was just like, that just seems too pretentious. I was just like, this is too much.
Yeah.
I don't care. So when I watched the teaser trailer, first of all, that song they picked fucking slaps.
Nirvana.
Is it?
Yeah, it's a Nirvana song.
I didn't know if it was. But I've actually been listening to that song constantly because it's so fucking good. And yeah, the trailer was just like this cool, dark detective noir thing. And I was just like, oh my god, why is this so good? But then I saw Robert Pattinson's greasy ass motherfucking hair, and I was like, okay, all is well in the world. I'm okay again. It looks dumb. I don't know why we picked this haircut, but okay, we're gonna live.
Gotta keep on with the emo aesthetic.
I guess so. That was. I'm also digging the fact that the movie is about the Riddler. I'm not gonna lie, it took me a couple watches to figure that out.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. I should have figured with the clues, but what was throwing me off was the guy at the beginning, because his face was all kind of like bandaged up, so I was thinking, oh, is it Hush or something?
Oh, okay.
Because there's like, oh, he's trying to get your attention. And I was like, that kind of sounds like a Hush thing to do, because he hates Bruce Wayne and wants to be Bruce Wayne. But then they're like, we're pretty sure it's the Riddler. And I was like, dope. probably the reason why I didn't understand it was the Riddlers, because there was no Riddler trophies around. Then I would have known. Even if you play the Batman games, there's just Riddler trophies everywhere you gotta collect. So that's why I was confused, I guess.
I see. It should be, like, story-wise, though, I'm intrigued to see the whole thing. I know we talked about before that, like, you know, we know Batman's story. Do we really need another movie? Mm-hmm. But having seen what they've shown at the thing, I think it'll be interesting because we haven't really had an updated version of those characters since the Tim Burton movies. So, and obviously, like, Jim Carrey is iconic as the Riddler, and all of, you know, those movies in general back from the 90s are, like, iconic in themselves, but to have kind of an updated, darker, edgier, kind of like the Dark Knight Christopher Nolan style, who knows, we'll see how it goes. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think it'll be cool.
Yeah, especially that one scene where the thugs are like, "Ha, who are you?" And then it's just a long shot of him just punching the shit out of a guy.
Yeah.
And that, again, another moment that pissed me off. I'm like, that's so fucking good. Why?
So is it literally just because of Rob Pattinson that you don't like it? Or
yeah.
Or that you're like, yeah?
Yeah, I don't care for him. Like I said, the whole gun thing I thought was really fucking stupid. And again, to me, ever since, like, the Christopher Nolan movies came out, mm-hmm. ever since then, I've just, and maybe just because I've delved a little bit more into the graphic novels, the video games have been expanding on the Batman lore, mm-hmm. the animated movies have been doing all kinds of cool stuff. So for me, just to, once again, have another mainstream Batman is just too much. And like you said, it kind of seems like like, it's a little bit of an origin story, but kind of somewhere in the middle, so it's not like maybe the beginnings, but like his journey to become Batman, or at least a more polished version of Batman, which is fine, but like I said, I just think there's been better and more dives into his lore, and more into, like, I just found, like, just more recently that the video games and I've gotten more out of it.
Yeah.
Than I feel I would maybe just out of this kind of single standalone movie.
Yeah. It makes sense, though, because when you think about it, like, yeah, like we said, we know Batman's story because literally every Batman movie that's ever come out has literally just been about his origin story, so it would be cool to get more in-depth on the lore of him, besides the fact that we know, like, how he came to be and why his parents died and this and that and the other thing, like, right. And it's just, you know, sad that because he is such an iconic superhero, they haven't tried to do that more. So hopefully, who knows, maybe they will do that, or if not, that they should, because even honestly at this point, with the way, like, the TV shows are going, Batman would be the perfect character to have, like, you know, obviously they've got the animated series, but to have, like, a live-action Batman show, that'd be the best.
It was funny. There was this article I saw where they were talking about how Batman can't be introduced into the Arrowverse. And I skimmed it very briefly, because I've noticed with all these articles that I click, it's like, no offense to the writers, but, like, the first 2 to 3 paragraphs are just fucking bullshit. It's just, like, reiterating what the title is somehow, and I'm like, I don't know how you managed to do that in 3 paragraphs. Kudos to you. And it took so long, because basically what I got from the paragraph, again, it was, like, really long, and there's too many ads. Anyway, the point was, the whole thing was that they were saying Oliver Queen was just so similar to Batman that they could never bring Batman into his own TV show realm because it'd be too similar. Yeah,
but Batman in some ways, and I love Oliver Queen, but Batman is Batman. Like, I feel like, you know, to me, it's like Oliver Queen's almost like the protege to Batman.
Yeah.
And I don't know what his connection to him is in the comics and stuff like that, but to me it seems like the two of them would be the type of people who would either, like, get along really well or butt heads a lot because they're so similar. And, you know, one's got different morals than the other. You know, like, again, that would be so intriguing. Why they've got a lot of missed opportunities there, you know? It would, and even, again, for the Arrowverse shows, the fact that, again, we know who Batman is, we know his story, to have him just kind of, like, pop in every now and then as kind of, like, you know, the Dark Knight as he is, giving a little bit of guidance here and there because, you know, he's part of the Justice League. That'd be awesome. So many missed opportunities,
I
man.
know. But
it is what it is.
Yeah. Like I said, I'd be pretty okay. Unless, like, it's like a if they did like a special series, like a limited run series or something, then I could be down for it. But like I said, I'm pretty much okay with now getting more into the reading the graphic novels.
Yeah.
I think the video games have been doing a great job. And if you haven't seen any of DC's animated films, they're great.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think there's one I've watched where I'm like, wow, this was dumb. They did like one on Aquaman's origins. Done a couple on Wonder Woman. The Flashpoint one was really cool.
I mean, we technically got like the tiniest little teaser of Bruce Wayne in Batwoman.
I know,
but I'm guessing they're probably going to crumple that up and throw it in the trash. So
yeah, so don't
get too excited.
Don't get too excited. I was actually surprised that they had the new Batwoman at the at a lot of the panels.
No, yeah, I'm glad they did, and I feel like that was probably a main focus for them. But she seems really cool. I'm excited to see what she'll do.
Yeah, so hopefully if you guys missed out on DC fandom, that's okay. I'm pretty sure there's thousands of review videos and trailers. I recommend you check them out. I think DC's got some pretty cool stuff in the pipeline, getting ready to go.
I think they're definitely trying to redeem themselves a little bit after the struggle they've had for the last little while now that Marvel's kind of, wrapped up its main...
Right?
they have a chance to... Oh no.
Speaking of Batman, he just fell off my shelf.
Whoa, freaky! It's a sign!
It's a sign!
Dun, 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 dun.
Hot damn.
And on that note, I think we should wrap it up.
Hell yeah!
You guys have a great rest of your day. Enjoy the sunshine, because it's shining nice outside. You know that it's going to be coming to winter soon, and it's already starting to feel like fall sometimes. I don't know where I'm going with this anymore. I've lost my brain. Anyways, have a great Tuesday, you guys. Be safe, be kind, watch all the content, and we'll see you next week.
Goodbye!
Goodbye!
Monkey, and slap!